All right, today we are going to pull back the curtain on a part of our modern world that's, well, it's totally critical, but most of us never even see it. We're talking about the intelligent warehouse. This is all about the future of logistics, so let's get right into it. You know the feeling, right? You click buy online, and somehow, just a few hours later, a package lands on your doorstep. I mean, how does that even happen? It feels like straight up magic, but it's not. It's actually a really fascinating story about some incredible technology. Yeah, the secret? It's all thanks to the unsung hero of all this e-commerce magic, the warehouse. These massive, massive buildings are basically the nerve centers connecting that product you just bought to your front door. But here's the thing. Not just any warehouse can keep up with today's crazy demand for speed and accuracy. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. On one side, you've got the warehouse of the past. Think lots of manual labor, which means it's slow and, people make mistakes. It's error prone. But on the other side, that's the future. A place that's automated, super fast, incredibly accurate, and just efficient. So let's break down the problems with the old way because they're pretty significant. The research we're looking at here points out that these traditional warehouses are just bogged down by manual work, and that leads to more errors and it slows everything down. They have a tough time matching what they have in stock with what people are actually buying. And what does all that lead to? Wasted time, wasted energy, and yeah, a lot of wasted money. Okay, so how do we make that leap from the old to the new? Well, the solution comes down to this really powerful one-two punch of technology. The Internet of Things, you've probably heard of it as IoT, and some really sophisticated automation. Let's dig into how these two actually work together. First up, the Internet of Things, or IoT. Look, if you've got a smart speaker or a smart thermostat at home, you already get the basic idea. Now, just scale that up. Think of it like a smart home, but for a warehouse the size of a dozen football fields. Every single shelf, every pallet, every box, it gets its own digital identity. This means it can communicate exactly where it is and what its status is, all in real time. And the key piece of tech that makes this whole smart warehouse thing possible, it's called RFID, which stands for Radio Frequency Identification. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a barcode on steroids, a super barcode. It's this tiny little tag with a chip inside that you can slap onto pretty much anything. And this right here shows you what a massive leap forward this is from the old, humble barcode. See, a barcode needs a direct line of sight to scan, right? And they get smudged or torn all the time. But an RFID tag, you can read it from a distance, even through a cardboard box. Plus, it can hold way more information and it's way more durable. It is a complete and total game changer for keeping track of everything. Okay, so knowing exactly where everything is, that's huge. But it's really only half the battle. The other half is actually moving all that stuff around. And that is where the automation comes in, with smarter robots that navigate much, much smarter paths. Let's just take a stacker crane, for example. It's a pretty common machine in a big warehouse. In one of these intelligent warehouses, it works all by itself. First, it gets a digital command, like, go get item X. Then, a bunch of algorithms figure out the absolute fastest, most efficient route to get there. It zips off, grabs the item, brings it back, and then just waits for its next job. All of it happens in seconds, with zero human intervention. But here's something that's really cool. This massive push for efficiency, it's not just about saving a few bucks or getting your package to you an hour faster. It actually has this huge environmental benefit. Because as it turns out, a smarter warehouse is also a greener warehouse. So what you're seeing here is an actual optimized layout from the research. Now, I know it might just look like a blueprint, but trust me, every single line, every zone has been meticulously planned. The whole goal is to design a space where robots and materials have to travel the shortest distance possible. Every foot saved matters. And the results of that really smart design, they're pretty profound. You shorten those travel distances and boom, the machines use less energy. You plan things better and the equipment gets used more effectively. Less just sitting around idle. The big takeaway here is that every little bit of optimization cuts down on waste and seriously lowers the warehouse's carbon footprint. Okay, so less energy, smaller footprint, crazy efficiency. Those are some pretty bold claims, right? But do they actually hold up in the real world? Well, the researchers put their system to the test. And the results? They're pretty stunning. First off, let's talk about accuracy.
Using these new predictive algorithms, which actually learn over time where the most efficient places are to put things, they saw a positioning accuracy improvement of 2.41 meters. That is a huge jump. It basically eliminates lost items and makes sure the right product gets picked every single time. Next up, they looked at the AGVs, the automated guided vehicles. These are the little robots that just ferry goods all over the place. Now, after all the optimization, they found that these robots spent about 37% of their time actually doing productive work, transporting goods. The rest of the time, yeah, they might be waiting for a task or just traveling to the next one. But the key is that the entire system is designed to shrink that wasted time and max out the productive work. And what about the central brain of the whole operation, the database? Can it even handle this constant flood of information? Well, look at these numbers. Even when they loaded it up with 500,000 records of data, the average time to get an answer back was less than half a second. The system is just incredibly fast and stable no matter how much you throw at it. So what did the researchers themselves have to say? They concluded that this whole integrated approach, the IoT, the automation, the green design, it isn't just some cool idea on paper. It has, and this is a direct quote from their paper, extremely high practical value for the actual real-world future of logistics. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's that intelligent warehouses aren't science fiction anymore. They're not just a concept. The technology is here, it's been tested, and it's been proven to work. This is how we're going to build the supply chains of the future, supply chains that are faster, cheaper, and, importantly, greener. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've just seen how this kind of technology can completely revolutionize a warehouse. So it really makes you wonder, what's next? What other everyday system, whether it's our cities or even our farms, is going to be made intelligent next?